Hi everyone, just looking through my boards here, all the various ideas I have for posts. I've still got lots of things here that I want to talk about, but one of my favorite verses in all the Bible, or favorite chapters in all the Bible, apart from Romans 8, is actually Ephesians chapter 5. And I've actually been doing some work on creating a series that I'm going to introduce to you a little later on. But right now, I want to introduce you to a series that I'm creating on Ephesians chapter 5 for the first 21 verses. And these particular verses help us to understand how to live the Christian lifestyle and what it means to be a true follower of God. So I want to talk about the first two verses. These two verses call us to a higher standard of love and living modeled after Jesus Christ himself. Ephesians chapter 5 verses 1 and 2 says, "Therefore be imitators of God as dear children, and walk in love, as Christ also has loved us, and given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet-smelling aroma." So what should we do as Christians and followers of God? The answer is clear. We should imitate God and walk in his love just as Christ did. Ephesians 5 verse 1 urges us to be imitators of God. But what does that really mean? In 1 John 4, 7 and 8, it says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God, and everyone who loves is born of God and knows God. He who does not love does not know God, for God is love." To imitate God means to live a life of sacrificial love, just as Christ loved us and gave himself for us. One of the things that people don't fully understand is the sacrifice that God did for us. He died on the cross, and when we don't understand the power of the cross, we don't understand his love. And if we don't understand his love, we don't want to live like him. We don't understand it. How could anyone love me that much that they were willing to die? Now, occasionally, some people might be tempted to die for a friend. But would you die for an enemy? That's what Jesus did. He laid down his life so you and I could be saved, that we have a way out of this mess. We can actually ask God to forgive us for sins that we would never think of forgiving anyone else for. But he will forgive us. All we have to do is ask. All we have to do is say, "Look, Lord, I'm tired of the way that I'm living. I'm tired of forever struggling against sin and these temptations and the discouragement when my prayers don't seem to be answered. What am I going to do, Lord?" Well, you gave it to the cross. You get on your knees and you give it to the cross. You give it to God, and he gives you the strength. He gives you the determination to get off those knees, and you go out there and do the job that he's called you to do. There is no time left for putting grudges ahead of family. There is no time left to say, "Oh, well, I'll let someone else do that job." No, if God is calling you, specifically you, to do a job that he wants you to do, whether it's to talk to your neighbors, whether it's to talk to your workmates, whether it's to talk to, creating online ministry like this. If God is calling you now is the time. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not next year when you think you might be in a better position to do it. Now is the time. Now is the time to reach out to family and say, "Hey, look, you know about these grudges? Let's put them aside. Let's sort them out now. Let's look at forgiveness and reconciliation now." Now is the time to follow God's way, to follow God's GPS, God's plan of salvation. It's time now. And through the next few episodes here, we are going to go into more depth of Ephesians chapter 5, how it shows us every single part of our life and how we should live. Join us next time, and we'll talk more about it. Until then.